All right, we're recording, and I'm going to use the mic good.
Okay, so what's happening? You were asking me about Bebop and Rocksteady earlier?
Is this anything? Is this a thing? I was just trying to remember which one was which one was Bebop and which one was Rocksteady.
Well, we came up with a pattern, didn't we, that Rocksteady's a rhino, so R to R.
Alliteration, yeah, and Bebop's a boar.
Yeah, although I said pig, but pigs don't have tusks, so I was schooled.
Were they vaguely kind of hip-hop themed?
Is Rocksteady a style of hip-hop, is it?
No, I think Rocksteady's probably more ska.
Write your answers in, obviously, to What's the Go. And that's what this podcast is. What's the Go?
Yeah. I liked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a cartoon as a child.
What, as opposed to a coaster? What are you talking about?
No, well, the toys were fun, but the cartoons were funner. But I don't remember many of the stories.
Well, it was mainly around a brain that lived inside a robot's belly.
But he was Shredder's boss?
Apparently.
What was Shredder?
Shredder was a evil samurai-style fellow.
It was a human?
Yeah, he was a human, but his superpower, if you want to call it that, was just having really pointy armour.
Yeah, he did have very pointy armour, and he had foot soldiers.
Yeah, he did. Which,
But he also had Rocksteady and Bebop?
Yes, yeah. Don't ask me where they came from. I assume they're mutants in the same way that the
diversity hire. All the other foot soldiers are regular, and he had to get some diversity in the crew.
Well, it's more just that, I don't know, maybe there's a lot of that ooze going around that turned the Ninja Turtles and Splinter into what they became. This is the Tangential Sport Podcast. What's the Go? Just in case you were wondering.
They, to kind of tangent you back to reality, they quite often liked running the Statue of Liberty football play when dealing with pizza, though, for some reason.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was trying to connect the Ninja Turtles to sport.
Okay. We've had some NRL. I know we call this a sport podcast. We do spend a lot of time talking about NRL. We're in a car again, in case you hadn't noticed too.
The pod only takes place in cars now. Well, a certain car.
We've become a fully fledged car cast. So, look, are we the first of our kind? Maybe. Are we genius entrepreneurs? Yeah, I guess we are.
I would have said maybe to the other one.
Well, how many car casts have you heard?
None that I can think of. Probably for the poor audio quality it delivers.
Yes, but what about the yucks?
The yucks are paramount. We have had NRL this weekend. What are your thoughts coming out of round one, Stuart? Is that your name on this pod? I don't remember if we use our real names.
That's my name. I'll go with that.
Thank God. Ooh.
You're alluding to the fact that I've had pseudonyms before on other podcasts, aren't you?
Don't say that, or they'll know that you've had pseudonyms.
Fucking.
Yes, you have.
Okay, so my first thought, if we take all the games, just a general takeaway from them all, it's like, my thought is that nobody did any ball skills training at all over the off-season. These first grade players on many hundreds of $1,000 contracts, a lot of them couldn't catch a ball to save their goddamn life.
Well, look at the colour of that car.
That's like a real matte purple.
Wow. I think it's changing colour. It's like eggplant.
It's a hypercolour
Yeah,
car.
hypercolour car. Cool. You can't see this, but trust us, it's great.
Don't shout into your phone.
Sorry. As we were talking about with you saying they haven't worked on the ball skills, I did, however, point out that they're all fit as hell.
Yeah, they're fit.
They're so fit.
But does being fit help if you have never in possession?
I didn't see one person look gassed at the end, but I did see a lot of people throwing passes at heads. A lot of head work this weekend.
Well, I might have said to you earlier, it really fucking annoys me when first grade players aren't expecting offloads.
Yeah, you should always, as you said to me, always expect the offload. Yeah.
Like, it's one of the main attacking options, unless you like to do second man plays till everyone dies of boredom.
Can I bring back another point that we've made in the past that kind of like these would be mutually exclusive? If you are that far up on the line, you should expect a pass. You shouldn't be this far up to be in level with the ball and not hoping to get the ball, or you're just not in the game.
Yeah. But I don't know, is it being too proactive? Because I think...
To expect a pass.
Well, I think people are so far ahead going, all right, the next 3 plays going to be this, that they're not even paying attention to the fact that this play is still alive.
Yeah, and it always is.
Yeah.
It's still alive. I was saying to you this morning that I think they need to start calling held tackle more when they've held them up standing up for a while. Because they hold them for, like, a while, and I saw this in the Tigers game, and then they'll get their arm free and get an offload, and it's like, you've been holding him for 3 minutes. Where's the ref calling him bloody held?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you said that this morning. I wasn't particularly interested, but it's good
I'll
that
say
you
it again. I will. I'll say it again.
I'm sick of this excuse that, it's everyone's crap in the first few rounds. How much do you need to be paid to not be crap in the first few rounds?
Yeah, there's a finite amount of rounds. These count, don't they?
Absolutely.
However, I've had a very funny discussion with my wife over the week where I keep telling her it's the first round of rugby league. And because I went to a trial game of the Tigers the week before, she says, no, it's not. It's not the first round. They've been playing already. No matter what you tell me, they're already playing football. You can't tell me it's the first round.
So the idea of structured competition is baffling to her. Look at that
guy.
Holy
shit. Sick.
If you follow Blokes of the World on Instagram...
or if you happen to be on the Pacific Highway now...
we're near Chatswood. There's a real gun bloke. He was shirtless. He looked like...
Had a pig dog.
He looked like a cross between Ivan Milat and Djokovic.
Yeah, there was ethnicity there. There was some form of Eastern Euro going on.
Yeah.
And a ponytail too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to first round being shit. Yeah, they need to be better.
Oh, that's the end of your thought?
No, I heard a weird noise. They need to be better. They are paid to be better. What are you training for? As I said, they're very fit, but you can't have fitness at the expense of your ball skills.
Yeah.
Like, you're a professional. The amount of drops and bad passes in the first half of the Tigers-Raiders game was ridiculous.
It's just this idea, like, we're happy to ride off the first few rounds as, everyone's got to get back into being match fit. Match fit? What about just fucking ball fit?
Yeah, catch a ball. Whatever happened to that thing if you go to sleep with the ball? You're always holding the ball. Footy players should always be holding the ball.
Well,
get to love the ball.
Yeah, well, I must have heard Joey Johns say like 6 times over the weekend, the ball's different this year. It's just not floating right.
Wow, I didn't hear that. Yeah. Did he go into more detail?
Well, he just thinks that they're using a slightly different ball that is lighter and therefore like floats weirder.
I got some tangent on that, but it's sport related. The MLB, the Major League Baseball in America, have come out this year and said, yeah, we're making the balls a bit shitter this year.
Shitter?
Yeah. So everyone for years has always said they're juicing the balls. They're making them easier to fly further. And MLB have always said no. And now it appears they've been lying because they said, well, we're toning them down a bit this year.
But you sure that's not just spite? As in, you reckon we're making them better? We'll make them worse.
Nice.
See what you think of that.
I like the idea of a spiteful MLB commission. But yeah, so they think that there'll be less home runs this year, more balls in play.
Yeah. But when you say that, I'm thinking about balls disintegrating though when they get hit really hard.
Like the Sandlot kids.
Yeah.
Is that? Am I thinking of the right thing? Like that great kids movie. How could you make a rugby league ball different? Inflate it too much, I suppose.
Well, I just
inflate it not enough.
Well, I guess just
have they taken a rugby union ball out there instead? Maybe
the consistency of the synthetic material might be different.
Does Steeden have a monopoly on this market? Does anyone ever? Is there competition in the ball market?
I couldn't bloody tell you. I wonder what else is out there. Some sort of Aldi brand potential ball that's not getting a look in because of bloody, I don't know, mates looking after mates kind of shit.
That's kind of what I'm getting at here. There should be a ball review after a goal.
Yeah.
Couldn't Nike make a ball?
They could, but, does
Adidas?
Does Volandis have his best mates with old Johnny Steeden, and they'll make sure they've got a monopoly on it for years to come? Or Sharon?
Yeah, I was going to say Sharon make them.
Sharon.
Yeah, that's interesting. You don't talk about that much.
I don't.
No, it's surprising. Thought you'd talk about that more. I kind of like that in cricket. Don't different countries use different balls, and when you play a test, they use a different ball, like the Kookaburra and
yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Although I do enjoy the kind of the added variance it gives an already very varied game. I like that. I like the variation of cricket. Yeah,
I wonder
for example, the Duke ball in England swings to buggery, but the Kookaburra we use doesn't really swing that much.
Not swinging.
So you got your England bowler come out here trying to swing it, mate.
Doesn't work.
We'll get our flat track bullies to tonk you around like we got.
There you go.
Warner's ready for your non-swinging swingers.
Also, I like in cricket the pitches can be different size. Wouldn't that be fun?
Size?
Yeah.
Do you mean the ovals? No. Do you mean?
Yes, I do.
How can they be different sizes? What are you talking about?
Well, sometimes you have a long front boundary.
I see. So where the pitch is in relation to the rest of the field is what you mean.
Yeah, and I believe also the actual oval is of different shape and size.
They don't arbitrarily decide how big the oval's going to be that day.
I think they do.
No, they don't. It just seems that way from where the pitch is placed on the square.
In the AFL, which they play on cricket pitches, all the pitches are different sizes.
I refuse to believe that.
So, okay.
All right. Well, I don't know. That's probably the end of that conversation then, because that's.
Well, what I was getting at was, are there pitches that are better for different things in rugby league?
Oh.
For instance, I go to Tigers home games at Leichhardt.
Yeah.
The pitch is convex.
Yeah. Okay.
Very convex.
Yeah.
The middle is noticeably higher than the sides. Does this push to more wing play?
Or 40-20 city.
Because you bounce it right out off the pointy bit in the middle.
Yeah, what about Brookvale, or even more so, that bloody Illawarra Stadium, Wind Stadium, right next to the beach? You'd get really strong
winds, gusting winds.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about that? You probably get that at Central Coast Stadium too.
Not really, because Gosford's quite inland. You're coming straight off Brisbane Water, which is
Brisbane Water, yeah.
Not really the ocean, but you might get some seagull poop might affect the consistency of the grass a bit, I guess.
They've got large inflatable condiments at that stadium too, which always weird me out.
All right. Do you think we talk about NRL too much on this podcast?
At this point, I don't. I think the other things we talk about too much, like Sea Scouts, are the problem.
Well, we didn't talk about Sea Scouts much at all because I didn't have the information. That was the problem.
Have you got the information yet?
No, because no one wrote in to say they wanted to hear about it.
So does that suggest that no Sea Scouts listen?
No, it probably suggests that of the few people who listen to this, they can't be bothered talking to us about Sea Scouts.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, well, what, you want to talk less about NRL?
No, I'm trying to think about, what we're doing and whether people want more variety.
Well, I'm pretty pumped. The Swans starts next week, which I care more about than the NRL.
Yeah.
And I'll be watching that. I can talk about that.
Do you care more about Swans winning than Tigers?
Much.
Really?
1,000,000,000% more.
What?
I've been an AFL boy since I was young and copped a lot of shit for it, and,
All right, can I bring people behind the curtain a little bit?
Okay.
When we first started talking about doing this podcast, we said, that would be good because I, being Stu, know a bit about league, and you, being Monty, know a bit about AFL.
It's true.
And then when we got to talking, I found out quickly you don't know much about AFL at all, except for Swans.
That's the thing. See, I think maybe that gives the care more. Because I care less about the rest of the league in the AFL, except who I'm playing against.
Right.
But in the NRL, because I'm a Sydney person, you get more of it.
It's not
you
very
understand
fucking
more.
helpful, though, is it?
I can tell you a lot about the Premier League, Champions League. I'll tell you all about that.
All right.
I stayed up late watching my Southampton Saints lose to fucking Brighton Hove Albion last night. Brighton Hove Albion.
Yeah.
I do like their jerseys, though, Brighton Hove Albion.
I like their name,
They have
too.
somewhat of a pinstripe.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a fucking rooster.
Oh. We're on the Pacific Highway driving through Sydney, and there's a chicken on the road.
That was hectic.
I don't think it was a rooster.
No?
No.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I guess it didn't. Oh, well, you might have been. I suddenly realised I'm no authority on the subject.
I thought...
halfway through the sentence.
Yeah, that's why I questioned you, I suppose. Who are you to tell me what a rooster is and what a chicken is?
I don't know. I think because you knew nothing about the rest of the AFL, therefore your opinion on anything should be discredited because you misled me.
Behind the curtain
This whole
again.
podcast is a sham. You misled me about your informativeness.
Yeah, I got some stuff to talk about. Another thing that was happening when we were discussing the rugby league and my wife's general dislike of all sports, really. She was saying, why are all the rugby league teams named after animals?
Yeah.
And I said, they're not all
They're not,
named
no.
after animals.
No.
And then I thought there's the Knights, the Raiders, the Storm,
Yes. Cowboys.
Titans.
Yeah.
So the Sydney
Warriors.
ones, though, no Sydney non-animals.
No Sydney non-animals.
No.
Hey, you're bloody right there.
You got anything about that? Oh, yeah.
Have I got anything about
She was asking that because she said, yeah, I know there's other ones, but nothing in Sydney not named an animal.
Yeah, because all the ones that aren't animals are all the new clubs. These are all legacy old clubs, pre-war clubs, most of them.
So, what does that tell us? That we had no imagination pre-war and thought, fuck, we'll just call it an animals name.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know that individualism was big in
What?
a lot of circles.
Do you think Titans is individualism?
But it's just breaking out from
The animal mold.
Well, also, like, the newer names, Titans, feels very Americanized.
Can I make
I'm
some...
making a good point.
No,
You don't
but
go off the point.
no. I mean, we're in the point. When you look at
This is
Sydney
gonna be
teams,
so off
when
the
you look
point,
at
I
Sydney
bet you.
teams from back in the day, they're not all animals.
Well, like the Glebe Fruiterers.
The Newtown Jets.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So it's like we've just narrowed it down to only animals now.
So someone's come along and culled all the non-animal teams
Big animal.
until... When's the first non-animal that came back? Raiders.
Raiders?
Steelers. And
Knights.
No, Knights were 88. Raiders and Steelers were 80 earlier. 82, I want to say.
Really?
Maybe.
Okay. Was there Crushers at that stage, or was that post?
Crushers was Super League 95.
Oh, okay. So we culled it down to animals, and then we started reintroducing non-animals.
And then, you know when the Raiders came in? When the Jets went out.
Wow. So you always have to have one non-animal.
Always have to, but then Steelers as well. So they traded one non-animal out for two.
No, one animal out. Oh no, one non-animal for
Jets,
two
yeah.
non-animals.
Yeah.
What about the
Oh, can I tell you something else? Though?
Yeah, please.
The Bulldogs weren't always the Bulldogs. They were the Berries for a while.
Yeah, the berries. The berries. What happened there? Do you know much about that change?
I think they probably felt self-conscious that they weren't an animal and everyone else was.
Did they have a berry-related colour scheme?
Well, blue is blueberry, probably.
Ah, good point. Yeah.
And no, it's more that it was just Canterbury.
Oh, that makes
So
more
they were the
sense.
berries.
Yeah, the berries.
Yeah, so more about kind of the digging kind of berry than the nice, juicy, tasty kind of berry.
Oh, what about the dragons?
Don't you reckon they should have been?
That's not an animal.
Fucking A. We were sitting there thinking about
Yeah.
the whole thing, and then that probably says something about the dragons at the moment. They didn't even pop into mind.
Yeah. Well, they popped in for the first half of yesterday, apparently.
All right, well, okay, let's extend this conversation out to just animals. Let's break that down further. Some teams having legit scary animals and some having piss weak fucking animals.
Obviously, the worst one is simple, right?
Oh, the scary non-scaries.
Eels.
Oh, rabbits.
Well, rabbits at least got movement and shit like that. A gross, slippery eel. And rabbits has history because they used to sell rabbits,
You're
right?
more scared of a rabbit than an eel. Is that what you're telling me?
No, that's not what I'm telling you. I am more scared of an eel than a rabbit.
Yeah.
But I just think an eel is a bad mascot for a football team.
Well, no, it's synonymous with the area. Parramatta River, tons of eels in there.
Yeah.
The rabbits, obviously, that has something to do with
sold the rabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the tigers come from? They seem to have stories, but...
Great question. Why
Yeah.
are they called the bloody tigers? There's no...
Oh,
Balmain Association.
What do we think? Yeah, okay.
Or they just... No, I think the Balmain Club probably decided, we want orange and black. What's orange and black? Tigers.
You reckon it went colour first? Maybe.
I reckon,
Maybe.
Yeah. Why else would they pick a tiger?
Yeah.
And shouldn't they be more patriotic and had just Australian animals?
Are there any Australian specific animals?
Thylacines, the Tasmanian tiger.
Yeah, but that's not... No, not... Oh, okay, I see you're on the tiger thing. Is a sea eagle specifically Australian?
I saw 2 sea eagles on the weekend.
Hasler?
Sorry?
Des Hasler?
No. The ones that fly about looking for food in the sky.
Des Hasler?
Marty Tapau. No, I was at the beach and they were just circling around looking for stuff to dive at.
I'm intrigued by this naming thing. It's an interesting thing, naming a football club. You know, in Canada, they have the CFL, and they introduced a new team again. Look, there's probably more to this than I know.
What's the C stand for?
Canadian.
Oh.
That's a league that has some weird named teams, right?
Now, hang on, before you push on.
Go on.
Does... You say your wife doesn't like sport. She's Canadian, though. Does she?
She likes sport.
Does
she likes ice
Canadian
hockey.
sport?
Yeah. She's fine. She don't,
Then she gets it. Why can't she just let you enjoy what you enjoy?
Speaking of which, ice hockey is another league that has some weird names.
Go on.
The Lightning.
Oilers?
The Oilers.
Yeah.
The Flames. Flames is kind of cool.
I guess.
But yeah, the CFL introduced a new team. They had voted on the name, and the town came up with the Red Blacks.
Yeah. Red Blacks?
Yeah. Just 2 colours.
Yeah.
Both could be construed to be racist.
Yeah. That's where I went first.
Yeah, the Red Blacks.
The world. It's a weird place. My name is Stuart Buckland, and some guests and I are going to look at all the weird stuff that happens in this world of ours. Is that suitably vague enough for you? Bit weird, but fair enough, I guess. Find this podcast wherever you listen to other podcasts.
So, can I steer it back to league for a minute?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
There's a new franchise they're trying to get up in Brisbane.
The Bears?
No. And then, the 2 of the potential bids... now, tell me which is sexier out of this.
Sexy.
So, the Redcliffe Dolphins is already a team that's up there. They're trying to get NRL bid.
Dolphins are sexy.
But scary?
I thought we were going for sexy. I don't know what you were asking.
Well, sexy in a... Ooh, that's dangerous.
Oh, dangerous
way.
Sexy. Okay. Yeah.
The
Dolphins are pretty smart.
The other one's called Firehawks.
Firehawks?
Firehawks.
That one?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Well, imagine a hawk. We've got seagulls, so just imagine a hawk instead.
Okay.
On fire.
Oh, okay. I thought it controlled fire, but it's on fire itself. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess it's just... Can you imagine trying to tackle a hawk that's on fire? You wouldn't want to, would you?
I wonder if we could ever set up some kind of sporting league where it's just the mascots for the team fight.
Okay, so like
a tiger fights a dragon one week.
An eel v shark wouldn't be much of a contest, I guess.
Eel v really anyone. It's not going to be a contest.
Well, it depends if it's a home ground or not.
Wow, that kind of adds to it, yeah. If you put the tiger in like an underwater cave system, the eel probably comes out on top.
Is it a moray eel that could crush the tiger's legs with its jaws?
What if it's an electric eel?
Electric eel, yeah. Rabbit's not going to stand a chance. Actually, I think even an eel on ground might be all right against a rabbit. Just kind of flip around and choke it.
The rabbit would have to get too close, but I suppose if the rabbit wanted to win, he'd eventually have to get close.
Yeah, I guess. Rooster, we've left that out of the fucking piss week animal conversation.
It's piss week, and we saw one. Well, maybe.
Oh, no. That's how our brains work. We saw one and it didn't even come to mind. How shit is that?
Yeah, roosters are shit. They're good at football though. Fuck, they pumped fucking Manly, didn't they?
They did. I feel like we had a list of kind of things we might mention. What's happened to that? Do we have more? You were looking at stuff earlier.
Yeah, I was. Marvin Hagler died.
He did. So
Marvellous
did Murray
Marv.
Walker.
Yeah. That's our in memoriam section of this podcast.
Well, I was deciding whether to do a Murray Walker impression or not, and
I don't think that's going to fly.
the Grim Reaper's coming through the chicane.
That's good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened in the world of sport. Anything interesting?
I wanted to make if I were ever to do a motorsport podcast, the chicane would be the best name.
The chicane?
Yeah.
Or chicanery.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your promo.
Yeah, chicanery. Stay tuned for chicanery.
Yes.
I don't.
Mind you,
I don't like motorsport.
the
very
day
much.
that I make a motorsport podcast is the day that I give up on life entirely. I hate motorsport.
Me too. Good. I'm glad. If you hate motorsport at home, don't listen to this.
Yeah.
Listen to motorsport podcast
Or
the
listen,
chicanery.
but pretend that this is called the chicanery, and we're just avoiding talking about motorsport rather than other sport in general.
I'd like to go to Bathurst though, not just the town.
We've talked about this. You just want to go to get pissed. I told you to stay home and get pissed and save yourself the bother.
I did do that though.
So do it again.
Okay. I think the F1's kind of cool. That Isle of Wight motorbike stuff, they're going very fast. I once went to a
so dull.
Red Bull air race.
All right, well, now you're talking.
Yeah. It was
Is that...
incredibly dangerous.
Yo, fuck yeah. Was that over the harbour or anything?
It was over a river, the Danube, in fact.
Oh, I see.
In Hungary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know it's the most attended single sporting event in the world, the Barcelona F1 race? They say they get 3 million people to it.
Shit, really?
Yeah, because they just all sit on the beach.
Yeah, I probably... I was not surprised it's not Monaco. Have they ever had 3 million... Can they even get 3 million people in Monaco?
Don't think so. I say Monaco.
No, Monaco. It's like the ice cream sandwich thing. Nice.
I call those a Monaco bar.
No.
I think a lot of towns that have, any semblance of public safety have banned the Red Bull air races.
Yeah.
I don't think Australia has one anymore.
No. It wasn't that long ago, though. I'm sure I've seen them on TV in the last 5 to 10.
Yeah. Oh, 5 to 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
People are getting too kind of sensible these days and worried about danger and insurance and death and stuff like that.
Have you ever seen the other Red Bull Sport crashed ice?
No? Are you going to tell me about it?
Yeah. It's fucking awesome. It's downhill ice skating.
Yeah.
They make somewhat of a water slide style track that's about maybe 8 people wide.
Okay.
And then 4 people dressed in hockey gear race down it. There's jumps and shit, and you can and you're allowed to hockey barge people and stuff.
Wow.
It's so hectic.
And obvious injuries pretty much every run.
Every run.
Yeah.
Every run.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
it's crazy. It's
Where
great.
can I find this?
Probably on the Red Bull website.
All right. We'll have a look after this.
Yeah, it's worth having a look at. It's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty fucking crazy. Red Bull do good things. They got their own sports leagues going. Like they got that cliff diving one.
Yeah, they've got their own channels and stuff. I often see jobs for just making TV shows for Red Bull specifically.
They'll let you do anything too.
Yeah.
You come up with anything, you can do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else we got to talk about? I mean, it's a bit weird, but fair enough. I guess podcast. That's a good podcast. You could probably listen to that if you wanted to.
Nice. What about this? What were your actual takeaways from the weekend, team-wise, from the NRL? I know we're back on that, but whatever. Okay. We know about it. We talk about it. Did you think anyone was better than you thought they were going to be? Anyone worse than you thought they were going to be?
Well, it's obvious that not many teams can put a full 80 together.
Well, they can, but not holding the ball. They're fit as fuck. They're running all around.
So I probably got 5 out of 8 for my tips. I haven't gone back to check, but I know I tipped Broncos, and they could have won. I know I tipped Tigers, and if Luke Garner hadn't done that stupid hit on Williamson, then the Tigers were kind of had the momentum then, and they lost everything from there. They got penalties, and Raiders got momentum from there. So that stupid penalty cost them, I reckon, possibly the match. It's hard to say for sure.
It's hard to say, but I think I don't think in reality Bulldogs are that many points better than Tigers.
Raiders.
Raiders are that much better than Tigers.
No.
No.
But having said that, Tigers didn't deserve to win either. I'm purely talking from the perspective of someone who's disappointed because I tipped them.
I think we all thought it, but it's good. You see it now, Manly is shit.
I can't tip Manly this year ever.
No, like I think there's no joy to be had there.
You might have seen my predicted ladder at the end. I think I've got Eagles too high now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They're potentially fighting the Dragons for wooden spoon.
I'm still annoyed by the year-on-year goodness of the Storm. No matter what happens, no matter what changes happen in that club, they still do well.
Yeah, I can see vulnerabilities though. I'm not as scared of Storm as I used to be. Cam Smith, we haven't mentioned the fact that
he's retired.
Did that he's a weird guy, man. He's a weird guy. It's like he's so contrary that he can't help but do the exact opposite of what people would like and expect.
Yeah, that's fair.
But seemingly only for the reason that he just wants to
contrarian for contrarian's sake.
Yes.
See that statue of him?
Yes.
Doesn't really look like
Billy
him.
Slater one was they were weird as.
Yeah, it just looked like two guys.
Who fucked two guys? Sorry. I just Cam Smith. You're unnecessarily irritating. There's no reason.
Did you watch the Warriors game?
No.
I hear that they were alright.
Yeah, like I said, I think Warriors have got a great team apart from their playmakers who I'm just not sure about. No, their spine. You got two of us a Shaq, and then rest of spine is dubious. That's my only concern.
It's a good working title. Rest of spine is dubious. Here's a weird thing that happened.
Is this a take of yours? Is this a
No, it's not a take. It's just a thing that happened. A team sponsor in the UK who sponsored a couple of maybe second or third division teams went soccer went bankrupt last week.
Right.
So they would no longer have their names on the front of their shirt.
Yeah.
The two teams went different ways. One had nothing on the shirt.
Yeah.
And one got a real local job to sponsor them.
Okay.
Do you think we should introduce more sponsors on shirts?
In league?
Yeah, or AFL or anything like that.
Well, I noticed that there. I think maybe you're not knowing how many there are already.
That was my joke. There's heaps.
Oh right. Okay, that was the joke.
Yeah,
that's the joke.
That's the funny.
There's a tiny one that you can only see when someone's goal kicking, right on the top of their chest.
I've noticed one that I've been really watching this weekend was the left butt one, which seems to back left short sponsor.
Were you?
Well, because it seems to be that makes sense sponsoring that bit because you see a lot of back left butt when
you see people backing into tackles and bending over in scrums and stuff.
Yeah, or tackling people and you get a bit of back left butt on them.
Yeah, okay.
No, we seem to be cramming sponsors in as much as you can.
Yes.
Is there room for personal sponsorship tattoo style?
The guy from Fantasy Island.
Oh, that tattoo? No, I mean do you remember those boxers who used to get maybe Golden Casino or something like that tattooed on their foreheads?
I don't know that they were tattooed. They were just, whiteboard marker on the skin, wasn't it?
Oh, well, what about that? Is there room for that?
Where would you put it, though?
Forehead?
But how?
Arms?
Yeah, I'm worried that'll rub off in the first tackle, though. I suppose if someone's punching you and it's not coming off, though.
Wow. We're behind a truck that's Australian extreme chili condiments.
And there's a skull.
Yeah, wow. Flaming skull and crossbones.
What do you make of that? What do you make of that sticker?
The Military Brotherhood or the Sea
Military
Eagles?
Brotherhood.
Both seem to imply white power.
Military Brotherhood. What does that mean?
I don't know, but it looks
That seems a little.
looks a bit too pridey.
Yeah, it does. Doesn't it?
Not the good pride.
Rather than the big skull with the Aussie flag. And
Yeah, I'm
something
getting a lot of
across
vibes from this truck.
it. I'm concerned what this is. And is this a hire truck? So this is something that they.
Is it?
Look.
Yeah.
Oh, truck and driver for hire.
No, so it's one guy.
All right. Usually we muck around with things that we're looking at and hope that people see that in good fun. But this must surely be irritating.
I hope you don't see this. Oh, that's a bit mean. I hope you see it so you know
What are you talking about?
I don't know. All right, what are you looking forward to this week in sports, Stu?
This week in sport. Ooh. I was going to go up and see the Mariners on Sunday, but it was raining too much, so I didn't. That's not looking ahead. That's just me mentioning something.
Yeah, it's not looking ahead at all. Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering that whether I can see, potentially, my son wants to go to soccer, so
Nice.
I don't know. I'll potentially
Do it. Go. I think, and a great year to see the Mariners. They're on fire.
Yeah, I can't this weekend though.
I don't think they're playing up there this weekend, are they?
Yeah, but I'm trying to strike while the iron's hot.
Which iron?
My son
wanting to. Yeah.
being interested in seeing a game iron.
Well, okay, all right. I don't know.
This life ain't good enough. I don't know. I think we're done, aren't we?
Yeah, all right. I'm looking forward to the Swans this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you who are they playing, or do you not even know that about other teams?
Too late for that. We're moving on. I am very excited about Southampton's quarterfinal in the FA Cup. We have nothing in the league. We're fighting relegation again, even though we were first in fucking November. And but now we're still in the FA Cup. So that's Saturday night for me.
All right. I'm really hungry. That lunch we had was not satisfying.
I was satisfied with my lunch.
But I didn't have breakfast, so I'm behind.
I don't have breakfast.
Fuck you.
See you next week.
Hello, my name is Piers Grove, and I'm a founder, publisher, and managing director. In March 2022, I'd just been named Managing Director of Australian Geographic and set up Scout Publishing. Then everything changed. 404 Brain Not Found, the podcast for stroke survivors and their friends and colleagues. We explore the absurd experience and frustrating journey of stroke recovery. 404 Brain Not Found, a general experiments podcast on all podcast streamers.
My name's Stu,
I'm Rachel.
and we are fans
Obsessives might be the word.
of the 90s. The 90s. The 90s. The 90s. You can follow the podcast on your favourite podcast app. Rachel, what's the name of the show?
Swinging on the flippity flop.
Why the 90s?
We lived it.
We lived it, we were it.
Was it the best decade ever or the lamest? Let's find out.
Flippity flop.